Picture this. One prompt, and within minutes, you have a working API endpoint, a landing page, and a Stripe checkout that actually accepts payments. You could demo it from a cafe with patchy Wi-Fi and close your first $1 pre-sale before your coffee goes cold.
Wait, demo from a cafe? That hits the imagination. I'm intrigued, and also thinking about the risks already. Who are we building for, and how do we not wreck security in the process?
Welcome to the AI and Future of Work podcast, episode 81. I'm Marcus Chen. In the next minutes, you'll get a practical blueprint to launch a travel-ready micro SaaS, precise prompts, stock choices, a 3-minute validation task, and a maintenance game plan so you can run it while you travel. Let's cut straight to what works.
Nice. Okay. Give me the shortest possible validation someone could run between flights.
3-minute task. Build a 2-question type form. First question is an A-B headline choice. Second, would you buy early access for $1 and a 20-minute feedback call? Share it in one Slack, Discord, or Indie Hackers thread. If you get 3 or more yeses in 24 hours, you have signal worth building on.
Simple and brutal. I like that. Do you have example headlines people can paste?
Yes. Headline A, automate your client follow-ups in 60s. Headline B, stop losing leads while you travel. Paste those as 2 choices. Then the $1 buy question. That clarity makes people decide fast.
Okay, validation done. Now the build. Do you recommend no code or code for a nomad who wants portability?
Both are valid. My recommendation for portability and speed is a lightweight code stack. Next.js on Vercel or Replit, Supabase for data, Stripe checkout for payments, and Clerk for auth. No code like Bubble can get you there fastest, but plan exports early. Keep core data in an exportable DB so you can migrate later.
Right. Plan to escape the vendor if needed. Now give me a real prompt I can paste into GitHub Copilot or a code model to scaffold the API.
Generate a Next.js API route at /API/lead that accepts post-JSON, email string, message string, validates inputs, stores a row in Supabase table leads with schema ID, email, message, created at, and returns JSON ID created at. Include minimal error handling and a .env example for Supabase URL and Supabase key. Read the result, test it locally, then deploy. Small reviewable code wins in an MVP.
That's usable, but secrets. I always worry. You're traveling, you lose a device, someone gets access to VARs. What specifically do you do to protect keys and PII?
Checklist. Never check InVars into Get. Store keys only in the hosting provider's encrypted M settings. Use an encrypted password manager like 1Password for backups and a rotated key schedule. On the database side, enable Supabase row-level security. Minimize PII stored, email plus a hashed ID is enough to start, and schedule nightly DB exports to a storage bucket you control.
Good. And payments. What's the fastest, least maintenance route to accept money?
Stripe checkout. Minimal code on your side. A server call to create a checkout session that returns a redirect URL. Prompt example. Create a Next.js post handler that creates a Stripe checkout session for price XXXX, includes customer email, and returns .url to redirect. Deploy it with Stripe key and Stripe webhook secret as envars, and use a webhook that writes successful payments into your Supabase customers table.
Zapier or Make for the glue, right? Connect the webhook to onboarding automations?
Exactly. Successful payment triggers a zap. Create the user in Clerk, send a templated welcome email, add them to your CRM, and populate your knowledge base access. For the knowledge base, use OpenAI embeddings into Supabase or Pinecone so an AI responder can answer first-line questions.
We need to hit ethics here. Tell listeners to label AI responses and get consent if they record chats or store transcripts. Also, never put raw PII into an embedding service without masking.
Totally. A one-line disclosure in the UI and a consent checkbox at signup solves most transparency issues. For embeddings, either exclude PII or hash and tokenize it before indexing, and make human escalation mandatory when the responder's confidence is low.
All right, here's the friction I promised. You said earlier this can be maintained in around 3 hours per week. Name the 3 things you actually do each week. No fluff, I want specifics, and how automation shrinks the work.
Fair challenge. The actual weekly split I recommend: 1 hour of triage. Check alerts for failed jobs, billing errors, and webhook issues. 1 hour for customer touchpoints. Follow up on flagged tickets and a quick outreach to new trial users. 1 hour for product backlog. Prioritize and schedule tiny changes. Automation lowers those times. Onboarding emails, Zap-created user records, and an AI-first support responder cut triage by half, so your time often becomes 30, 45 minutes when the automations are healthy.
That math helps. But what about outages or fraud spikes? A single webhook flood could own your weekend.
Guardrails, rate limits on public endpoints, basic WAF rules from Vercel or your host, and alerts routed to a single on-call channel. Also configure automated retry policies and a circuit breaker that pauses non-essential jobs if error thresholds are crossed. That way, most spikes are auto-contained, and only the high-severity cases require manual work.
Good. Let's close with the quick risks and exactly how to mitigate them today. A short checklist listeners can implement in an hour.
1 hour checklist. 1. Run the $1 pre-sale type form and share it. 2. Set NVARs in your host and ensure none are in Git. 3. Enable Supabase RLS and schedule nightly exports. 4. Configure Stripe webhooks and a Zap that creates users and sends a welcome email. 5. Add a UI disclosure for AI responses. Those 5 moves reduce scope creep, protect data, and get revenue flowing fast.
That's actionable. Final listener task. Say it once, crisp.
Do the 3-minute validation now. Create that 2-question type form. AB headline plus $1 pre-sale question. Post it in one community and check for 3 yeses. If you hit that, you have a buildable signal. Then, if you want templates, exact prompts, folder structures, and deployment checklists, enroll in the Micro SaaS launch course at nomadlifesuccess.com/courses. Automate the ordinary, amplify the extraordinary.
Quick closing note from me. Start small, be explicit with users about AI, and protect customer data from day one. That keeps you fast and trustworthy while you travel.
That's your AI blueprint for today. Ready to implement this at a higher level? Enroll in our high-income remote skills courses at nomadlifesuccess.com/courses. Automate the ordinary. Amplify the extraordinary. This changes everything for nomads. See you tomorrow.